Hello, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are back. This is Two Legs. This is episode 191, our year in review for the year 2022. My name is Andy Nichols, and I am one of the co hosts of Two Legs. You might know me from my other channel. That's Andy Music Vault, The Other Leg. And joining me today is the Two Legs founder, Mr. Tom Hunyadi, which you also might know. He is a co-host of a solo Beatles video cast called Talk More Talk that he does with Kid O'Toole, Joe Mayo, and Ken Michaels. Thomas, the end of 2022 is now upon us. How are you?
I'm just still amazed that this year has gone by so fast, but they all do. And we just getting a little older, and just still amazed that Paul is still so active. That we have so much to talk about here for the year. That it's
We really
you know
do.
he's double your age, really. And he's doing you
Yeah,
know
exactly.
and
He's
he's probably
he's
more active than you are.
I'm sure he definitely is. Well, I mean, let's think about this. And I sent this to you and David earlier. This sobering. Think about
Yeah,
that, right? I was telling you how in the '90s, when I was listening to like Wildlife and Red Rose
right.
Speedway, in the '90s, those albums were like 20 something years
Mhm.
old, right? And as a
Yeah.
teenage kid, I thought that was like decades, and it just felt like
Yes. Yes.
it was something from like another. It was great. I loved it. Obviously, we listened to it, but it
Right.
felt like it was like from like ancient times. And now more time has elapsed. Now, like Flaming Five was 25 years ago, and
Mhm.
we don't look at it the same way.
No, we don't.
Driving Rain. That's over 20 years ago now. Flaming Pie is 25 years ago now. So you look at that as the time marches on. It's like, wow. Well, we're just getting older. We're just getting older, and we're becoming old, just older, cranky fans.
Right. Older cranky fans, still wanting that damn London Town back to the egg.
When you look at things over the last 25 years, and to your point, to see how prolific Paul is at his
Mhm.
age now. He's going to be 81 this
Yeah.
year in
Right.
2023. More and more stuff. And like he said in that box set single, he goes, he's not done yet. So
Right. More to
it,
come.
it was certainly quite a prolific year, the McCartney world. We haven't had another Archives now in 2.5 years, and
And we'll
that
talk about that later.
later. But just looking
Mhm.
at me, yeah. But they threw a curveball at us around holiday time. But we'll get to that towards the end of the calendar year. But
Absolutely. But I do want to congratulate the two winners of
yes,
the McCartney Legacy book, Matthew Buzzell and Bill Ruff. Congratulations. By this time, by when this is posted, hopefully they'll be on their way, or you will have them. But life gets in the way. But we will be sending these off soon because we're recording this on Monday, the
Boxing Day.
26th, Boxing Day. Um, yeah, the 26th. So we will get those off soon. And thank you
Yeah,
for participating. I think we had close to 50 people enter
enter.
the contest, and that was amazing. Thank you. That was great.
Yeah. Real quick before we jump into the timeline too, I just wanted to give a quick apology to anybody that was in the UK that could not watch our last episode, which was Best Friend Part 4 with Andy Rotuno from the Glass Onion on John Lennon podcast, which we did Part 4, examining the years 77 to 82. Initially,
Right.
there was a copyright thing there where it blocked views in the UK and other small countries because of the use of Beautiful Boy. So we went back into the video and just muted that section. So we did that today on the
Hmm.
26th. So if you were in the UK and you couldn't see the episode, excuse me, it's up now, and the offending song is out. And we really just we included that clip so you could see Paul's reaction on the
Right.
Desert Island Discs show, which you can still
Yes.
see. And again, those of you that
It's
listen to it on the audio end, we're again you'll have that's a visual thing. So
right. We really didn't talk about it because it really needs to be seen. His facial expressions when he picks that song for that program, and
yeah,
then you can see him. He's twirling back and forth in his chair. His face is hiding in the shadows, and he looks like he can bust out crying at any second. And it's really, you know it's really heartfelt, or it's really sad just watching it, because he's missing his friend.
Of course. And it's
Mm.
that's one clear video in the 40 years since that time where you can really see it when it was still
Yeah,
raw
the
and very
emotion.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
1000%. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so jumping right into the year, first thing we
Yep.
got at the beginning of the year, February
Yes.
3rd, we got the Wildlife Half Speed Master, as Thomas was
Yes.
holding it up there. And that's been a nice, again, small level kind of campaign of
Right.
releases from Paul's camp. We got it in 2020 with McCartney, we got it in 2021 with Ram, and we got it at
Yep.
the beginning of 2022 with, while it was delayed, we should have had it in December of 21.
Right.
We didn't
Right.
because of the whole
Right.
shortage and vinyl stuff. So it
Yep.
came earlier. It was the first thing we got right out of the year. The McCartney camp
Hmm.
was that Wildlife
Yep.
Half Speed. On the 10th of February, Paul played with the Omoza Music Project, and he played bass on the song Home. That was on
Yes.
February 10th. That was his first kind of recorded
Yeah.
activity of the
You
year.
can. Yeah. You can go on YouTube and check that out. It's not a bad. It's not a bad little jam.
No. And then and we got to April, and then it was
Yes.
but this was a highlight of I know Tom's year and certainly mine. We had the Fest for Beatles fans, the New York, New Jersey style here on April 1st and 2nd of really the end of March, beginning of April of
Yep.
2022. And Tom, let's hope this year in 2023 you have a better flight coming into New Jersey, and I'll let you carry
I
it over
really
from
hope
here.
so.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah. This was long time in the making. I did live in Chicago for a while, but being in the restaurant industry, the weekends it's just hard to get any time off in the weekends. But it was a great time getting to finally meet so many people. I only going to that White Album Symposium there in 2018, when I got to meet all my colleagues and and podcasters and authors and stuff like that. But then to meet more fans, and more people that we've met since then, that was really great. And being a part of some panels, and then getting to hang out with you, Andy, going to some record stores after, and a concert, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But just a great time. We are planning to go next year. And then I am also, I talked to Nikki about also the 2024, which will be the 50th anniversary. Right? Or is it this year the 50th or the
It'll be 2024 will be the 50th
24 will
anniversary of
be
the
the
fest.
50th, right? So I'll do that, and then maybe calm down then for the New Jerseys, and then after that maybe do a few of the Chicago fests after that. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was really I had and Tom I had flown out to meet Tom in 2021,
right,
and he kind of took care of me out there and showed me around Phoenix and stuff, and it was this time for me to reciprocate here in New Jersey, and it was great to have him here, and
yeah, yeah,
it was just a hellacious travel for him to get here, but he did, and yeah, it was a great time for us to kind of get together here and
hang out,
hang
yep,
out. And we didn't get a chance to go to Strawberry Fields, but I did drive by the Dakota so he could see it
right, right,
on
yep,
our way to the Steve Hackett concert, which we went to, which we'll get to later.
right.
But that was
And that
fun,
was
and
great. That was
yeah,
great.
you guys did a great interview with Juber in the at the
Yep,
hotel.
yep. Talk more
And
talk.
we're talking more talk.
Which, yep.
So yeah, it was a great. I mean, Tom was like totally blown away by the vinyl room and the merchandise room, even though it was small. He was
Hey,
like,
listen,
he made a beeline up there. It was just,
I tell you what, man. For as small as it was, and hearing stories from you, of days past, fast past, and how massive those cellars rooms were,
yeah.
or room was, and then just being able to find so many things that I need. I mean, I ended up picking up Driving Rain, on vinyl finally, and so many other little, nuggets.
Did you grab
For
Chaos
me,
that
it was
weekend
good.
or no?
What's that?
Did you grab Chaos that weekend or no? You passed on Chaos, right?
No, yeah, I passed on. I passed on that. Yeah, I
Right.
passed on
I
that.
remember. I do remember you seeing that in your hand, though.
Right. Oh yeah, it was in my hand. No, I still need to get an original of Chaos, and one of the sellers also had the original Paul is Live from '93, but it was a
Great.
little beat up. The jacket was a little beat up, so I passed on that. So
because he is a very, very picky vinyl owner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the fast 3 days. We went all 3 days. We're going to do it again this year. April 23rd, we had the Record Store Day Women and Wives 12-inch single release.
12-inch single. There you go.
So that, which we now have as a 7-inch single in the box set.
That is correct. that is correct.
Which
and
isn't this basically the 7-inch single is just that, the same thing as that, just on a
right? It's
form, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got Paul's version on the A side, and then you got St. Vincent's version on the B side. So.
Yep. So I have to get my other copy from you. You'll bring that.
Yes, I'll be bringing it with me.
We'll do a trade-off, book for record.
Yes.
Then things got a little interesting because finally Paul's tour began. The Got Back tour did begin in April.
Yes.
And the tour did start on the 28th. And the first show was in Spokane, Washington, and it wasn't a very long tour. It was only less than 20 shows between April, May, and June. And Tom got to go on May 13th to SoFi.
The SoFi Stadium, LA. I got the call from Rick Rogers, new buddy, Rick Rogers.
I'll say.
And got some messages from him. He's just like, look, I got an extra ticket. He's not coming to Arizona, so you want to come out here and see Paul. And believe me, I got home from work that day and talked to the wife and said, look, this might be the last chance I ever get to see Paul. We got to make this happen. So made it happen. Flew in. I tell you, it was a fascinating 36 hours, and it was. I would have done that. I would have done that all over again, or I would do that all over again for another chance. So, but yes, thanks again, Rick. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and making that offer. And it was an offer I couldn't refuse. That's for sure.
Hell yeah! So that was a great.
And then this baby calls a little stir too, right? Because when the part where it says when he talks about the archive releases,
you
know what I mean. There was a little thing in here saying more to come, or check the website.
Basically check the website. For more info.
Yeah, exactly.
So that takes us now to June, and on the 1st of June there was the release of a book called "Take a Sad Song: The Emotional Currency of Hey Jude," which was written by James Campion, who did an episode with us before that date, and then got to see him in Chicago as well at the fest. He was there promoting his book. So it was really cool to see and have him on the show. I mean, a whole book, 300 some odd pages just on Hey Jude.
Just on Hey Jude.
Just on Hey Jude. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. And he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's got loads of energy. Reminds me of Jerry Seinfeld a little bit. He does.
Yeah.
But that was a great book, and that was on June 1st. Then on June 16th, the tour wraps up here in New Jersey at MetLife, and I got to go see Paul's show here in New Jersey with a lot of other friends and some followers of the show. Joe Mayo was there, Ken Michaels. It was really cool to see there. I mean, I didn't meet any of those people during the show. I know Joe Mantaneo was there as well too. Mm-hmm. He's a big follower of our show. Yeah, so that was a really cool experience to go to the MetLife concert. It was the last one on the tour. It did rain a little bit, but had a blast. Didn't get to go and hang out as long as some other people out there did, aka Joe Mayo, who was there at 4:30. But good for you. You got to see him drive in. But it was a great concert, and that was the last show of the tour here in America. For here. But then, just about 9 days later, Paul plays Glastonbury on June 25th. And by all accounts, I mean, reading people who were there, the take on it really was a welcoming home show that went down so well.
Yeah. I mean, it was hailed as almost a perfect show.
Everybody loves that performance.
Everybody, it got reviewed so favorably, and that's awesome. I tell you how happy I was when I got to when I saw all those reviews coming in so positive. But however, all of his shows have been reviewed here in the States and everywhere. They've been reviewed so positively. But
Right.
to hear this from the fans to
And
say
in
that
his
this
and in his
was,
home country.
yeah, and his home country, yes,
Very important to have that because it's so easy, especially over there, to just
right,
take the piss out of Macca.
yeah,
It's just so easy to do. It's like a national pastime, to make fun of him over
and
there.
and yeah, and then if that was his last show ever, then he went out on top. I mean, top that. I mean, how are you going to top that? I
You
mean,
can't.
maybe he's, yeah, but that was just
I think
phenomenal show.
there was something very special about that show. His family was
Yeah,
there. They were all
yep.
there. They were,
Past band members were there.
yes, band members were there. That's why that's kind of. I mean, that's why I kind of think it might have been his last show because all these people from the past came out to the show. I think wasn't Chris Whitten there and
Witten there was there. I think Robbie was there.
right?
You know,
Was Denny Lane?
so yeah, so
I don't
I
know
don't
the
know about
guy.
that, but I saw, yeah, we saw the '89, a couple members of the '89
They were
band
there,
there.
right? They took because they posted a photo with him. So
Yep.
something very special about that concert, and we'll see. Tom and I have talked about this. I mean, a little side note, but we Paul will still produce music. It's just will he
Oh yeah.
continue full scale shows of 50, 60,000 people, arenas? He
Right.
might not. I don't know. I don't think he will.
Mm,
I know you
mm.
agree, right?
Uh, I mean, I can see. I mean, if he does continue to tour, I see like it was this past year. 13 shows spread over,
3 months
20 dates.
or
Yeah,
whatever from April to whatever it is, like 10 weeks or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Some places will get two shows. And then that's it. Just
Mm.
3 months tour. Of 13, 14 dates.
That's
So
it. So we will
yeah.
stay tuned on that. Okay, then we get through the rest of the summer. Pretty quiet, although on the 5th of August, we got yet another repackaging of McCartney 1, 2, and 3 in a nice
Yes.
box that my co host just had to get. I did not get it.
Yes.
That was just too much for me. But is it
Yeah, I
open?
can I can get that. Yeah, it's open.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did
I
open it.
played. Yeah,
And
I
you
did
played it
play.
too?
Yeah, I did play all of them. They all sound terrific. And I get why somebody wouldn't get this. Somebody like us, because yes, we already have 20 copies of
That's it.
all three. But I did like the box. I did like the photos inside. And what's another copy of McCartney 3?
Well, for your collection, not much. It's just not. It's an old friend on the shelf. Hi, neighbor. How
Right,
are you? Hi, how are you? I'm the latest edition of McCartney 3 on this shelf.
right,
That's what that is. So that was our release that we got.
right.
Really, other than the Wildlife Half Speed, that was the physical music release. That was the only second physical music release of the year. To that point, was the rehashing of the three albums. About a week later, a little less than a week later, somebody very, very close to Paul passed away.
Hmm.
John Eastman, who was Linda's brother,
Right,
passed away at 83. And those of you that know your McCartney history, you know how important the Eastmans are
right.
to Paul in helping him build his kind of empire that he has there with the publishing and advice and legal advice going back to
Yes.
the end of the Beatle days. The advisor.
69.
That's it.
Yeah.
And those of you that are reading the McCartney legacy right now, let us know what you think about that period. But the Eastmans played such a huge role in McCartney's life, and I'm sure that was a big loss for him because
Oh
they
yeah.
such a confidant, to borrow a term.
Right. And we talked about them, and John, the father son duo. We talked about them a little bit in our interview with Alan and Adrian. So yeah, they totally get the importance. And you gotta say, because when we heard about it, I think he had already passed. Like it was already like a week or so later when we finally heard. So
Yeah,
they were able to have a private time,
of course.
and all that.
It was like when Linda passing, and they said that
Mm.
she passed in Santa Barbara, California, but
Right,
she was
right,
really in Phoenix. So
right,
these are things that the McCartney camp historically always keep close to the vest, as is their
right.
right, as is their right to
And
do so.
Yeah, and then seeing on Twitter, saw a few things on Twitter where people were saying, "Oh, well, what's he gonna do now? He doesn't have." I tell you what, he probably knew this going ahead that he probably wasn't doing well. He probably saw this coming, and he was already prepared. I'm sure he was already prepared, and had other lawyers,
Yeah.
to take
In
over
fact, again,
whenever.
what do we know? We're two schmucks. But
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
John Eastman may not have even been really handling Paul's business affairs day to day anymore for the last few years anyway.
Right.
I'm sure at some point he was like, but the ultimate. But we don't know. We don't know the inner workings of the empire.
Correct.
We pretend that
Correct.
we know, and we wish we did, but we don't.
Right.
So yeah, that was a big loss for an important guy in McCartney's life. And then on August 12th, we got the Ram On tribute, which was
Right.
Fernando Perdomo and Denny Seiwell, who we also
Right.
interviewed this year, and that got a physical copy finally on vinyl
On
uh,
vinyl, yes.
on the 12th, a double LP version. And if you want to hear like just an amazing group of musicians pay
Yeah.
tribute to such a great record, that's it. And they did their live show at the
Yep.
Troubadour, which unfortunately wasn't streamed, but they did a performance of it as well.
Yep. 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 Yeah. It was. Yeah. They had to cancel the show. I think Timmy Shawn, who we had interviewed, who performed on this, and then maybe a couple other people got sick or whatever. They had to postpone it.
They
I
postponed
was
it,
really, yeah, I was really considering going, but then their makeup date was on my anniversary,
right?
so
But
wedding anniversary.
you were strongly considering going, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
I really wanted to
it
go.
was it was
But
at the
this
yeah.
thanks to Cherry Red Records, so this was
That's a great label too, by the way. Cherry
yeah.
Red, Esoteric, they're awesome. What their
Yep.
reproductions they do. So that was on the 12th. Finally, and this was a really weird year. I remember like texting Tom throughout the year, especially over the summer. It was like, we haven't heard a thing from Paul. Like, what's Paul doing?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, we got these releases in the tour, but really, you didn't hear much of anything.
Right.
Finally, in September, we hear Paul playing at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert at Wembley Stadium, and I think David has sent
Mhm.
some video clips of him playing
Right.
Helter Skelter, I think. So it was like, okay, like because the tour ended, Glastonbury ended, and it was like, well, now what? And we didn't hear anything.
Right.
Glastonbury was
Right.
on June 25th, and now we get all the way to September, and like not a peep about anything. And then Paul comes out and plays at the tribute concert for Taylor Hawkins, which eventually was shown and screened.
Yeah, and really surprising he surprised us with a track he'd never played before with
Yes,
Oh Darling,
with
which
yeah,
Chrissy Hine helped perform with, and unfortunately this was a miss.
yeah.
We've always wanted him. We always thought, okay, well, Oh Darling's one of the songs that he's never played live. Wouldn't it be great? Well, here it is, and it just I applaud him for taking that chance. However, unfortunately, it didn't work out so great.
No, but you know what? You got to give him. You got to give him. You can't.
Yeah, give him all the
He,
credit in the world for trying.
he tried. He tried. So
Yeah,
what? So it didn't sound great, but at least he did it.
yeah,
Now he needs to do that with 100 other songs, or maybe redo them in the studio since touring may not happen. Just redo them. How about that?
maybe.
Re-record
Yeah,
some
maybe.
stuff. Who knows?
Hmm.
So that was on September, and that was it really
Yeah,
until
right.
that was it really until the end of the year or the beginning of this month. Another
Mhm.
quiet fall. I didn't really hear much from Paul at all. In November, I want to say it was November 10th, we were informed that this,
Less than a month. Less than
less
a
than a
month.
month, that this 7-inch, 81 single box set, Uber
Yep.
Deluxe Edition was going to drop. Only 3,000 were made, and was put on the website on the 10th. Was announced on the 10th, and it sold out 2 days later. And it finally came out on December 2nd. The 7-inch
Right.
singles set, whatever you want to call
Well,
it.
we did get that email saying it was going to come out on the 9th, but then all of a sudden we got the email saying that they shipped, on time.
Right.
Really weird.
And I've seen all these semantics on the forums and stuff. Well, it's not really the complete, it's just call it 7-inch singles, thus 7-inch singles, the complete. It's just it's a 7-inch
80
single
for
box
80.
set.
80, yeah. 80 singles to celebrate his 80th birthday, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe.
And listen, while it wasn't an archive release, it was something most welcome to our collections. as Tom and I both got them. He had number 5. What was your number, Tom? 5 something?
My number was 828.
828. Yeah, I had a number in the 8s as well. Joe Mayo had a low number in the 5.
Yeah.
So we were, when we unboxed that live, and again, we didn't, we're not super elaborate with our stuff. We just unbox it and show it. We don't do it.
Yep.
So we did that, and literally took it right out of the rain and went live and unboxed it to get it out of that, to get it inside before it got too wet. As my OCD was going off the charts. Get this thing inside. Get it inside.
Yeah, imagine if there was like a snowstorm or
forget it. Forget it. I was doing a beeline. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta get this box inside my house now. now. So I
imagine if it was a night that you were like,
busy?
recording a game or something.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I have to go. Bye. That would have been tough. That would have been really tough, but luckily it worked out. And Tom, where, how far have you gotten up to getting through all 80? Where are you up to? Where did you finish?
Oh, I just finished the press to play stuff.
Okay, so you're up to like 86, 87.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Working your way through. Okay, so taking your time. I am up to, I think, coming up. I just did Arrow Through Me. The Japanese one.
Yep.
This
Japanese.
We had 2 old Siam Sirs on this because old Siam Sir was on the B side.
That's right.
For the Japanese one.
Right, and it was the A side for a British single.
Right. So you're getting, that's why people like 159 tracks. That's why it was a little bit off. But I'll hopefully this by the time this airs, I'll have finished getting all the way through there. But December. Big month for McCartney. Again, about 10 days later.
Yes.
Finally.
10 days later, finally.
McCartney Legacy was released. Written so wonderfully and beautifully by Alan Cozen and Adrian Sinclair. And that was an episode that was in the makings for a long, long time. Before I even knew Tom, actually. It was something that Tom was really penciling in, and you're the one that told me about the book. I wasn't even sure where it was in the makings. And we had a great conversation with those guys, and it's doing very well on our channel. So thank you. I think it's got well over 2,000 views, and we had a great conversation with those 2 guys when that book came out, and which led to the next day of the press launch at the Grammy Museum in Newark. And that was almost like a mini Beatle Fest reunion because I got to see Susan Ryan and Ken Womack, who generously hooked me up. Thank you, Ken, to attend that. It was great to see him, and a lot of Two Legs fans who traveled far and wide. Far have I traveled, and much have I seen. These fans did. And it was so great to meet up with Steve Sanderson. And
Tom Brennan was there, right?
Tom Brennan and a few other people, and Kyle Hand, who I got to meet, and then just to kind of get to say thank you and. To Alan and Adrian in person, and they did a 45-minute Q&A moderated by Ken Womack, and 20 minutes of audience questions, and then we're there for book signings, and I think they signed about 360 copies of the book.
Right.
So yours is right there, Tom. That's your copy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
You'll get it in April when you're here, and but it was a cold night in December, and kudos to those guys. I know Adrian flew over on a Tuesday, did the event on a Wednesday, and was flying back on Thursday, which is a real, big travel turnaround for him. But it's a piece of work that we're going to just refer to it like Lewison now. Well, what does it say in the Legacy book? Well, go to the chapter on the university tour. That's it. It's the gold standard. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I bought about 5 copies for Christmas presents for other people too to have it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then the official kind of end of the year in terms of McCartney activity was just a week before Christmas on the 16th. The Mary McCartney documentary, If These Walls Could Sing, dropped on Disney Plus. This was a 90-minute documentary, kind of made for the average person, unintended, to watch. And I got to tell you, I know Joe did a little 5-minute review about it on his channel. He really liked it. It's a nice documentary. I do like how they went into the early history of EMI Studios.
A little bit.
How it was built, what it was designed for, how it was a house, and how they bought it, what they were, and obviously the Floyd stuff was really cool. But it was a 90-minute documentary made for the average consumer. Was not. I know that was Tom's kind of biggest criticism of
Well,
it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, anytime something has a 30 to, let's say, 100-year lifespan, and they give us only an hour and a half documentary on it. I mean, they can't cover all the important stuff, or maybe they just show the important stuff, and then everything else just gets swept under the rug.
Yeah, I mean,
So
obviously McCartney's going to have a heavy hand in the whole documentary. He pops in
right,
obviously because it's the beginning and the middle, and Elton John's in there, and other kind of contemporary artists. Nile Rodgers, I think, was on there too.
yeah,
And
Jimmy
Elton,
Page.
Jimmy Page. So it was interesting, and then some other world artists and stuff that also performed it, and then obviously kind of telling the story about how the studio went into decline because there wasn't really any popular music acts going there because how really basically Star Wars and George Lucas,
John Williams,
which it wasn't really Star Wars though, it was really Indiana Jones, that because
Indiana Jones, and then going into Empire,
and then yeah, but I
or I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, because Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back were not recorded at Abbey Road. They were not. But I think Raiders of the Lost Ark was. I think. So that obviously tells a nice story, right? Great empire about a story falls down, and it was a very nice documentary. It was well produced. It opens up really with McCartney talking about showing that picture with the pony, with Jet, the pony crossing across the zebra crossing. So and then some little video clips of him singing 1985. Which I think was filmed in studio.
One hand clapping.
One hand clapping. Yeah. So obviously it's going to have a heavy-handed McCartney feel, with it. And Mary interviewed all those guys, and Elton tells that great story about how him and Bernie walked in and heard Hey Jude perform for the first time. So yeah, it's nice. It wasn't an anthology style documentary. It was 90 minutes.
No, not at all, to say the least.
And then obviously Giles,
and then you got Paul, can't helping himself and playing a bit of Lady Madonna, because that just seems to be what he does every time he's around a piano and on camera.
No, let me go to this. Let me just play Lady Madonna.
Yeah.
I did like how they were going to chuck all the instruments though, and then he's like, "I'll take them."
Yes, yeah, absolutely. He's got a lot of that stuff.
He probably has all of Abbey Road Studios,
which he shows a lot of that stuff there. Then during the Flaming Pie,
he shows it.
Box set. Yeah,
and so these are things that he's had in his possession for decades.
Yes.
So yeah, that dropped on Disney Plus, and it's a nice watch if you don't have any kind of brief knowledge of Abbey Road as it's now known. And that was really it in terms of official McCartney activity for the year 2022. Yeah, that was it. So now we're kind of going to splinter off and kind of talk about the concerts, because we went to a slew of concerts this year.
Right.
And going back to the beginning of the year all the way to now, Tom, kick us off.
Well, I mean, I don't recall if you saw any concerts prior to Steve Hackett, but
no. Well, yes, I did. Yeah. Elton twice.
Yeah, you saw Elton. Yes,
I saw Elton twice in February and in March in Brooklyn and in New York. So those were my first concerts of the year, and I had never seen him. Tom got to see Elton at the end of the year, just about 2 months ago. So we both saw Mr. Elton John. That was great, and then really that was it until April, and then we both saw Steve Hackett.
Yep. That was phenomenal. I recognize Steve Hackett as one of the greatest guitarists in rock or prog history, whatever you want to say, or if you want to put him in that prog genre, then I recognize him as just a phenomenal guitarist. Okay, he blew me away. I was not expecting this show to be so well done. All the musicians. And the singer, I mean, they were all fantastic. And what they redid the Lights Out.
Seconds Out.
Seconds Out.
His band just reproduced the Seconds Out live Genesis album.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Which was fantastic.
And I know you love the Nursery Crime and the Musical Box.
Oh yeah.
So I knew you would enjoy that, and it just happened to coincide with the Fest weekend. And I know coming away on a Sunday night, you're leaving the Fest on a Sunday night and stuff. But it worked out, and Tom was like, yeah, I'll go, and it was great. So we were just able to parlay the trip into the city and go see the Hackett concert, and that was in April. In May, I got to see the Who with my dad at Madison Square Garden, and that was incredible. I hadn't seen them probably in 8 or 9 years. That was a great concert as well. Basically, it was just a hit show, but they did a lot of Quadrophenia stuff, and Who's Next. That was fantastic to see the Who. Again, really the last 2 years, I have been so blessed to see some incredible, legendary people: Elton, Bob Dylan, McCartney. So that was then, and then. Let's see.
In May, in a 2-week span, I got to see 3 of my favorite singers of all time, and it's a weird bunch. But early in the month, I got to see Morrissey, who, say what you will about him personally and his politics, I still think he's a phenomenal singer, and I love his songs. A couple days later, then I got to see one of my favorite heavy metal singers in Danzig, and that was great. And then I'm capping it off on the 13th, seeing Paul, which was just a phenomenal 2-week period. This is one of my favorite concert going years, and I've like you, I've seen a lot of concerts too, but this year alone, this was phenomenal. And listen, I even working as as a concert caterer, I got to see a lot of good shows as well, but this specifically was really good year. And then later on, seeing director John Waters, got to talk a lot about his film career and stuff like that. And then going into Elton John, and then we just saw Gladys Knight.
That was just about 2 weeks ago?
Just a week ago.
A week ago.
Wow. Yeah, and she was phenomenal. And I got to tell this a little thing too, because right before the show, the concert promoter came out, Danny Selesco, and he's talking about upcoming shows. And he said that even though I didn't get to see Gordon Lightfoot because he was just here a week before Gladys Knight, he's coming back. So I'm definitely going to try to see that. And then he said, then he goes, "Who's everybody's favorite drummer?" So then Ringo's coming back as well. He just didn't say when. And then and this one, because I know he's got some dates to make up. I don't know if he was going to make them up, but Phoenix wasn't one of them. So it looks like he's going to tour even more next year as well. So, and it looks like Phoenix will be one of those stops. So awesome. I'll be deciding whether or not I'm going to go see Ringo again, but I don't know. We'll see.
You'll see.
Yeah, but great shows, and loved every one of them.
Yeah, I got a few more to tick off here for the end of the year. Obviously, Paul on the 16th of June. June 24th, I saw the Fab Four.
That's right.
For my money, the world's best Beatle tribute band, hands down. That's Will Lee and Frank Agnello and all those guys that used to be the musicians for the Letterman show and everything. They're awesome.
Right.
July 17th, I did see Gordon Lightfoot in Red Bank, New Jersey, and he's frail. The show was probably about 90 minutes.
84.
He's very frail, but it was great. He sang all the hits, and it was a really, really great concert. Recommend to go see him. 4 days later, I went to another tribute concert and saw Brit Floyd, which is an Australian Pink Floyd tribute band. They were great because I like Pink Floyd. I like a lot of their stuff, but I'm not diehard. Are you the same way? Are you the same way, Tom? Or
with Brit Floyd or Pink Floyd?
Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah. General. I have. Besides Animals, I have everything up to The Wall.
Okay.
So yeah, I tend to like there's a few of their albums right up to and Dark Side of the Moon. So like Obscured by Clouds, I really like a lot. More I really enjoy as well. So and then Dark Side of the Moon. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Wish You Were Here is great. Right. Wish You Were Here is great too.
So the tribute band was cool. They're big, big crowd, big band. After that, in August, I got to see Billy Joel. And I got to see Billy Joel again. I hadn't seen him in quite a while at Madison Square Garden. That was a good show as well. He's at the residency. And then that was really it until the beginning of December. What?
Did you see Nick Mason this year?
No.
Okay.
I did not. And then that was really it until just a couple weeks ago. On the 6th of December, I saw Steve Hackett here in New Jersey.
Right.
Again, so I saw Hackett twice this year and Elton this year twice.
That's a long tour he was on because because he came after that show that we saw in Jersey. I mean, he came here in Phoenix too. Didn't go, but then they did shows in the UK or all over Europe,
Europe,
or I mean, all over
all
the
over.
world,
He
really.
toured the
Yeah,
whole
all
year,
over. So
and then he came
that was
back.
yeah, and then he came back for a few more shows. I mean, that's a long ass tour.
Very long tour, and it was the same show, same so,
Yeah.
and that was a good. So that was it. That was the year in concerts for me as well.
Hmm.
We'd also like to do a little bit of a nice shout out right now to all the people that we interviewed on
Yeah.
Two Legs this year, and you know, just kind of looking at it in perspective, you know, I think our channel has done better year by year, and we couldn't have done it without having great guests and great viewers
Yep.
and subscribers and fans. So literally, like sincerely, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know Tom
Yes.
feels the same way
Yes.
that the success of the show and the guests that we've booked and all the hard work that Tom does and reaching out to these people and schedules. And because not everybody thinks it was so funny. Just a side note, when I went to the Grammy Museum thing for the book launch, people were expecting you to be with me. And they're like, well, where's
Mm.
Tom? I'm like, well, he's in Phoenix. You know, he's not in the room next door. Yo, come on
Right.
in here. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Right.
So you know, so so there's so much logistical work with planning the show, time zones. A lot of
And
our
then
guests,
our schedules, you know.
right? Our schedules and time zones. And Tom will text me and say, "Well, we'll have a call and say, what are we looking at for the month?" And we'll try to plan our month out when we can get together and do these things and schedule them. So, and that's really a lot of times with people across the pond. So you've got a time difference of 5 or 6 hours. Tom, right now we're 2 hours apart, but then it's going to
Right.
become three again soon.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
all these things kind of go into it, and that's all Tom doing that. So he's got a great list of all the people that you know we had on this year. So give him a shout out.
Right. Yeah. So we started the year off with the Queen, the great Kid O'Toole. We had some other rival from the UK. We had Sam on, so thanks Sam. Some authors, great authors. Ray Zirkle, who did the advertising the Beatles books. We had Chip and Mark Easter, Chip Manninger, and Mark Easter, who we started doing a year in review series. But go ahead, what was that? What did you
No,
want to say?
we had him on twice, didn't we? Did we have him
Yeah,
on twice this
twice.
year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we had them on twice. Yeah, we looked at the years 1980 for one show and the years 1975.
Yep.
And that's going to be an ongoing series as well. Maybe like once every 2 or 3 months, we'll have them back on, and we're going to look at a
On the
particular
year.
year in McCartney's recording history. Then we go to Joan Borelli, who that was the first night of the tour. Really, she came on and she recorded
Yes.
her thoughts, and that was actually our most viewed show of the year, right
Was
there.
it?
Yeah, 4K views right there.
Well,
So
that was because that was the first show. That's why.
yeah. We had Adrian Allen on. We had James Campion, our good buddy Dylan Seavey, who came on to do a middle eights show. So that was a lot of fun. Denny Sywell and Fernando Pernomo came on to talk about that Ram On concert, and we,
Awesome interview. Great
yeah,
interview.
yeah, yep. Terry Crane came on, and that was also a lot of fun. Learned a lot
The
about
NEMS. The NEMS
yeah, the
stuff.
NEMS. That's right. Our buddy Glenn Greenberg, who did a bookazine on Paul's 80th.
Yep.
So that we had him on to talk about that.
That was through
Larry,
that was through Time, right? Time magazine or
I
Life?
yeah, maybe I should have added that to the list. I forgot that. Sorry, Glenn. Larry Graves, our good buddy from Canada, the Canadian Stud Muffin. Yeah, and the show I really enjoyed was with your dad, John Nichols. That was a lot of fun having him on. Anytime you can talk to a fan of the first generation fans and their experience, and because he's talking about a fan and his fandom and not caring what the critics said. I mean, he was just listening to the music. He didn't care what the if what Rolling Stones said about Ram or McCartney. He just loved the music,
or Retro
and that was
Speedway or any of them, and he just bought it.
yeah, right, yeah, and that was great.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, Don Malley, who also saw the second show in the tour. Ted Montgomery, John Blaney, who hopefully, fingers crossed, is finishing up Volume 5 of the songs he was singing.
He only just started it.
Series.
Cut him some slack. He just started writing the damn thing.
That was 3 months ago already. Come on.
Stop.
All right. Yeah.
He wasn't even going to do it until you stopped harassing him about it.
Yes, I did. I mean, hey, it's a good series of books. It really is.
It is. I don't disagree.
Yeah. Judge Timbers, who came in, he was the first part of a series that we're going to be doing moving forward of looking at Paul as a musician.
That was the messed up. That was the messed up one. Yeah.
Messed up one. Unfortunately, sorry about that, Judge. But he came on and he took a look at Paul as an acoustic guitar player, and that was great. Artist Jeff Cummins.
Check his channel out. He's got some great instructional videos on how to play guitar and way like this. He's got an awesome channel.
Yes. Jeff Cummins, the artist, who we had on before Andy was part of the show, and he's an artist, so you know him from the Thrillington album, the front and back of Thrillington, the inside the jacket of Wings Over America, Say, Temporary Secretary, this one. So much wonderful art from Jeff Cummins, so check that out. Beatley Tone, who is a recent friend, and he came on. Also, Joe Mayo as well, who's been on the show several times. Alan Kozin, Adrian Sinclair was with us. Our good buddy Owen Ling. Adrian Sinclair and Owen came on to do a Live and Let Die show with us, where we just talked about the song Live and Let Die and its history. Luca Perazzi, who again, he was on the show before and came out to talk about his work on the 7-inch box set, singles box set. So thank you for that. And I do want to give a special shout out to our good buddies who are kind of part of the show sometimes, and that's Dylan Seavey, who does a lot of wonderful music for our show. And our buddy Ethan Alexanian, who will do, he did a lot of thumbnails for us, but from time to time he'll do one for us. And of course the man behind the curtain, my original co-host, who loves that Hoffman forum and lets us know when anything comes up, and that's.
Hey, they're saying this. All right. We'll get on there. Come on. Yeah.
David Gargalino, thank you for everything. Love you, buddy. And
peace and love, David.
Yeah, peace and love.
I just before we go into what to expect, I'm gonna throw you a little curveball here, Tom. I want to just kind of it's not really so much McCartney related, but since we are kind of doing a year in review, I'd kind of like just pay touch and tribute to the musicians that we've lost in 2022.
Yes,
in the rock genre. I've got a little list here. I'll run off of people.
Yes.
This isn't it's not everybody.
No, but don't mention her, please. I'll start crying.
I won't. Yes. I'm not going to. Tom Bell, the legendary producer, that was just a couple days ago.
Philadelphia, his work with Stylistics and Spinners is
awesome. Also does that Tom Bell sessions with Elton John.
Yes, Elton John.
Home run. Great stuff. Dino Danelli, who was the drummer in the Rascals. Angelo Albaldo. The guy who did the music for Twin Peaks.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because there is a Paul McCartney connection to that. He did work with Paul McCartney in I think it was a 1993 session. And somebody leave in the comments what that song was. It's an unreleased track that again that hasn't been released. So I forgot the name of the track.
I want to see his name. Badalamenti. I think that's how we say it. I'm half Italian. I should know this. Badalamenti. I think that's right. 85. Christy McVie, 79. From Fleetwood Mac. To Jerry Lee Lewis, of course. 87.
One of the innovators.
Yep. Loretta Lynn, 90. Yep. Coolio of Gangster's Paradise fame was 59. Judith Durham, so she was a member of the Seekers. They sang Georgie Girl in the 60s. She was 79. Lamont Dozier, 81. Also a writer of big Motown stuff. We're going to skip that one because he'll cry. Mo Austin, 95. Mo was the big guy in charge of Warner Brothers. I think Arista as well too.
Mm.
Jim Seals from the Seals and Crofts duo was 79. Ronnie Hawkins, 87. Those of you that know your
The
band
Hawk.
history, yeah, the Hawk, he was 87. Vangelis, the Greek Prague god, best known for Chariots of Fire, he was 79.
Mm.
He passed away. Naomi Judd, 76.
Mm.
Uh,
Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
yeah, Bobby Rydell, 79. Of course, Taylor Hawkins tragically at 50. That was just way too young to pass away. Ian McDonald, one of the founding members of King Crimson, 75. And Meatloaf, of course, 74. Bat Out of Hell fame. You know, I'm almost surprised he made it to 74 because he was a big dude. And of course, last but not least, Ronnie Spector, who was the lead singer of the Ronettes. Also not on this list, but he died in February, was Gary Brooker of Procol Harum, who was another big loss too. So that was just some of the year. So it's like when you watch the Oscars every year, right? They play that montage.
Yes.
You know, this was our version of that. So rest in peace to all those great musicians.
Yes, absolutely. What to expect? Excuse me. Every year we like to speculate, what we think might come out from the Paul camp, or book wise. That doesn't matter. Authors,
Mm-hmm.
So the half speed master thing. I'm sure we can expect Red Rose Speedway and Band on the Run. This is a trend, so I'm sure they're going to celebrate these 50th anniversaries.
Yeah, but when?
As they come.
Is it going to be close to release date, or is that going to depend on the vinyl shortage and the shipping stuff?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I would say come late February, early March, we'll hear about a Red Rose Speedway half speed.
You think
master.
that early, because it didn't come out until the end of April, right?
Yeah. Give it 6 weeks, 6 weeks to 2 months. We'll find out about that.
Clarification on those, Tom. Those you can only really get from McCartney's site. You can't go to Amazon and get those, right?
No, you can't. McCartney.com is where you're going to get those.
And we never heard
stores will have them though. Stores do get them, like Zia Records and In Groove will get those half speed masters.
Well, Mike gets them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Interesting, because we've never heard, like, in terms of a quantity, how many they make of those. How many? I wonder how many were made.
Right.
It's not like a limited edition thing, but they are. It's not like you can't just go on Amazon and get them. I think they're fair for what records cost now. What do they? I think a single LP is about $30. That's what it goes for. I think.
Yeah.
So
30
they're nice.
to 35. Yeah. Yeah, they're nice. They sound great. Another project coming soon. We know that High in the Clouds went to Netflix. It's still Paul. It's still his book, High in the Clouds.
Fair enough.
Expect a single. I say expect a single from that. We know he did work with Lady Gaga during the Egypt Station sessions, and I think it was specifically for this High in the Clouds project. So look for that. I'm curious to see if he's going to do a release for the 50th anniversary for the single Live and Let Die. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something for that. I mean, that's one of his biggest selling singles of all time right there. Naturally, back to the Egg London Town archives. When are we going to see that? Is he going to go elsewhere? Is he going to do something else, like maybe Press to Play instead?
I think as McCartney fans, we'll take anything. If he says it's going to be Press to Play, I mean, who knows? Because if somebody gets into his ear, like say this box set single thing is great, and a lot of people start hearing these songs for the first time, and they tell them how much they love, Only Love Remains or Pretty Little Head.
Right.
He might say, "Okay, guys, go do that one next."
Right.
It's just all he's got to do is. So it doesn't really take much to motivate him, and it all depends on where they're gonna go with it.
Absolutely. As long as it continues, I don't care what they do next. New album, new tour. I mean, what do you think the chances of a tour next year, Andy?
Slim to none.
Slim to none. So you're going under what? Under 20%? Under 10%? What do you think?
I'll say less than 25% chance that he's, because so he got back. Those are dates that were whatever, like scheduled, rescheduled, fine. I mean, maybe. I can't see. He's going to have to rebrand it or somehow. You can't call it Got Back. I don't think he's going to do any kind of large scale touring like that. I think it's I think that's over. I don't want it to
Yeah,
be, but I think it
it's
is.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, because he was saying "see you next time" after after every show. From my understanding, he said
And
"see you next time" at SoFi. So
yeah, but from what I gather, he didn't say it. He didn't say it at Glastonbury. I
mm,
think I read that. Who knows? I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, I. I guess because I thought he was done, and then he came back, because we had that little bet,
oh, with the
and
COVID, coming out of
yeah,
COVID, you were like,
yeah,
yeah, because
right.
you were like, he's
He's
done.
done. I thought he was done. I thought he was completely done. I just don't know if I can say that anymore.
Fair, fair.
Especially after that reception with the Glastonbury.
Or something
Um,
very limited. Like I know he'll never do it, but like just do like a 5 night run at the Beacon Theater in front of five
right.
thousand people and do small intimate shows like acoustic shows or like
hmm
just unplugged type
Yeah,
things.
I don't ever see him doing any kind of small show. As a tour. Yes, he's done these small shows here and there,
But as a
right?
tour, right?
Yeah, yeah, but not as a full blown tour. And then absolutely, I'm hoping, I'm sure we're gonna get the songs he was singing Volume 5 from our buddy John Blaney, and then once that comes out, we'll have him back on to talk about that as well. So that's kind of like my predictions or my hopes for 2023 for
Yeah, I
releases.
mean, listen, this time a year ago, we would have had no clue about a 7-inch singles box set, and then voila,
Right,
here
right.
we are. So who knows? A year from now, something will be. We know some kind of product will be issued in the McCartney
Oh
camp
yeah,
in
oh yeah.
2023. You just don't know what. I mean, look like a couple of years ago, we got the Rupert, a 100th anniversary
hmm
thing of Rupert the Bear, and you got that released. So there's always going to be something coming out. It's just what and when and how is it done.
hmm hmm All right. Also, lastly, what to expect from us in 2023. I think we're just gonna keep, moving forward, trying to get, find interesting guests here and there. Maybe not as much as we had in the past, because I really like just the Andy and I as we just, bounce off, of each other with ideas and thoughts and speculations and stuff like that. Ranking videos, I really don't want that to define who we are, so I don't really see much of, more ranking videos in the future. Not to say that we will never do another ranking show, because I
Well,
do.
we did it. We did it.
Yeah, I mean, we done stuff. I mean, people still come back and say, "Oh, can you rank this and you rank that?" And maybe in time, but we did a lot of ranking stuff. And like I said, I don't want that to be what we are.
Right.
I want us to be, as factual as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Show. I want us to have smart conversations with friends and guests from time to time, and then and just and mainly us, shooting the breeze or
That's
shit or whatever you want to say. you
that's
know
it. That's it, man.
yeah, so
One thing I'd like to explore, I talked to Tom about this. I'm going to look into it for those that are follow us on social media. Is the Twitter Spaces,
mm,
which a lot of people use now. If you go onto Twitter, you can basically have like an open dialogue, like a podcast or a conference over Twitter on an audio thing. And in terms of trying new things, because I'm a lover of technology and trying new stuff,
right,
I'd like to try to explore that using with two legs, and it's another way to connect with fans or do a show. It's not a podcast like you drop like on a traditional podcast, but it's something new to try. And so
right,
look for some of that early in the year. We might experiment with Twitter Spaces and setting up a conversation, maybe to react to something. Maybe something happens, and maybe we'll go live on YouTube to react to it, but then maybe we'll also do a Twitter Space thing. And it seems to be
right.
the current thing that a lot of people like to do.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know much about if
It's cool.
we'll. Yeah, no, but I don't. We talked about TikTok before. I mean, I
Oh
don't
no no
know
no
if we're
no
gonna,
no 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 no
venture into
no.
that. But
That's not happening. You can find a
yeah.
new co-host for that. I'm out. No, there will be
um,
no ticking of the talks here.
no ticking of the talks. Excellent. Excellent. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to keep on keeping on, and our uh, the push for 2,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, that's going to start right away. And thank you everybody who's subscribed. We're over 1,300 subscribers now, and it really means a lot that you watch and you comment and or you message or you text or whatever, reaching out to us, email. We really appreciate all you guys doing that. I mean, you guys are fans just like we are. We're fans. I don't consider myself an expert any more than any of you out
No,
there.
no,
We love the
we're just
music.
we love it as
Yeah,
much as you guys, and we're just
right.
two guys that wanted to just talk about it and share our thoughts and feelings with
Yes.
you all. That's all.
Le- right, learning something, as much as possible. I mean, whether it's every day, every other day, once a week, once a month, it doesn't matter. If we're still learning about Paul, that's when we want to share that
And
with you guys, and we
that
want,
book right
yeah.
up there is teaching us
Woo!
quite a bit.
Yes.
And that's going to be
Yes.
one of our shows in January too, where we actually review the book.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that after we're talking
We
about
are.
what we're gonna do.
I got like 100 pages left. That's it. I'm
Right.
almost done.
Oh, great! I'm happy to hear that.
I'm almost done.
Happy to hear that. So yeah, so again, everybody out there, we really appreciate that. I mean, every year is getting bigger and bigger, better and better, and it's just no slowing us down.
Cannot
Right.
believe that it's something that started so small in 2000, at the
Right.
end of 2019, before the world ended, has now
Right.
become this. And
Yep.
it's something that gives me so much joy, and I look forward to doing it every single week, no matter what we have going on in our lives, to juggling it. When we come into this world, we could just
Right.
zero in and we talk the same language, brother. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And you out there talking the same with us. You guys coming along with the journey has been very, very, very cool. So yeah, I guess that's a wrap for
That's going to be
2022,
it.
right?
That's a wrap. That is a wrap for episode 191. Thank you, everybody. Listen, Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Yes.
Have a happy and healthy and a safe New Year in 2023, and God willing, we'll still be here in a year's time to ring in 2024. So, for my co-host Tom Hunyadi, I'm Andy Nichols. Rock on, lovers everywhere, because that's basically it, as the liner notes say on Venus and Mars. God bless, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
You've been listening to Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast, hosted by Tom Hunyadi and Andy Nichols, with musical contributions by Dylan